Welcome back, everybody. Here's your reminder that Father's Day is this weekend. Hope I didn't surprise you. We have Sherod Waite from Moneywise Wealth Management of Bakersfield talking about ways to save this weekend. Good morning, Sherod. Thanks for joining us.
Great being here.
Of course. Welcome back in. Can you start by explaining how much people spend on Father's Day?
So on average, people are spending just over $200 per gift. This year is a new record. About $24 billion is going to be spent on Father's Day. It's about a 7% increase from last year.
That's good news. That's some good news for dads, right?
Yeah.
But this is well behind Mother's Day spending, though. What do you think is the reasoning behind that?
You know, it's interesting. On Father's Day, they spend about 50% less on gifts than we spend on Mother's Day. I mean, there's a lot of theories. My personal theory is that mothers tend to do a disproportionate amount of work around the house. And I think sometimes we want to at least have one day a year that we can recognize what moms do for us. But you know, us fathers, we do some work ourselves. So yeah.
Sherod, walk us through the top Father's Day gifts being given this go around.
You know, cards are always a popular gift, and I think that that's a nice, thoughtful thing to do, is to give something that comes from your heart. So writing a nice note, I think, is an appropriate gift. And some other ideas that fathers that sometimes will say that they don't want anything. That's a very common phrase that we hear from fathers, is consider giving an experience and providing something that you think that they might enjoy. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but you can certainly provide a meal or an outdoor experience, and fathers appreciate that.
My dad can also be lumped into those people who just want nothing. All he wants is a dinner and he'll be a happy camper. Sherod, what about those on a budget? What are some low-cost options, some ways to celebrate Father's Day?
Yeah, again, I think when a father says, I don't want anything this year, sometimes what they're saying is, I don't want you to spend money that you don't have. That's why I think experiences can be a very easy entry point where it doesn't cost you a lot of money. Also, if you're thinking about giving a gift that might be a little pricey, consider going in with another family member and splitting that price and splitting that cost with them.
Splitting with the kids, that's what my family is doing as well, my sister. Sherod, remind everybody at home some of the ways, some of the experiences you mentioned that people can celebrate and have a good time on Father's Day. Yeah,
I mean, you got to know what your dad likes. Oftentimes, if he's an outdoors person, consider equipment or barbecue equipment, outdoor or camping supplies. You kind of got to just know what they're into and look at those hobbies that they have and expound on those things.
All right, Sherod Waite from Moneywise Wealth Management talking about ways to save coming up this Father's Day and some ways to budget. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.